You're listening to the Accenture Insurance Influencers podcast.
Hello, I'm your host, Igrana Yu. Welcome to the Accenture Insurance Influencers podcast, where we interview some of the insurance industry's biggest thinkers. What trends are on their radar? What are the opportunities and challenges for the industry?
My name is Lex Sokolin.
Lex is a futurist and fintech entrepreneur. When we spoke, he was the global director of fintech strategy at Autonomous Research, an independent research firm focusing on fintech. In a few weeks, we'll be releasing 3 full-length episodes with Lex. For now, I'm excited to share Lex's answers to my quick-fire questions, the 4 questions that I ask all of our guests. The first question, what's the biggest challenge facing insurance today?
I think the biggest challenge is actually not the technology or the economics. It's believing that change is possible and believing that the disruption that's happening in crypto and artificial intelligence and insurtech, believing that that is going to have an impact over the long term. I personally think it's absolutely inevitable. And so as soon as the teams managing these businesses are able to own that and take actions to drive themselves in that direction, I think you're going to have spectacular transformation in the industry. But that is the minds and the hearts of the people running the industry is the biggest challenge today.
And on the flip side, what's the biggest opportunity facing insurers today?
The flip side is exactly aligned with changing your mind. So if you change your mind, if you see what the future is based on whether it's Asian companies or what the fintechs are building or how Facebook is teaching us to use the internet, once you see what that future is, I think you see the opportunity of being digital first and being digital first at scale that you have as an incumbent. And so I would point people most aggressively to look at the cash cows that they're sitting on, like the asset management part of their portfolios, of the premium portfolios today, and finding ways to take that and turn it into a digital first business.
What trends should be on insurers' radar?
For all different parts of the financial industry, whether you're in insurance or in banking, I think the trend you should look for is not the one that everyone talks about, which means that you should look at the other adjacent industries next to what you're doing. If you are focused on insurance sales agents, look at bank branches, look at robo-advisors. If you're focused on underwriting models and trying to apply artificial intelligence, look at what happened in digital lenders and with credit underwriting in different geographies. So there are lessons that we can learn, whether they come from payments and KYC AML, whether they come from regulation technology, and bring that back to your own industry and to your own company. And I think that type of surprise is how you create the most value.
What technology will have the greatest effect on the industry over the next 10 to 15 years?
The biggest shift that is happening across finance is that we're being turned from a product manufacturing industry into a sales and distribution and customer journey industry. And that is completely counter to how most people grew up building companies over the last 30 years. So the technology that has the greatest effect on the industry, not AI, not crypto, not automation, it's simply the technology that captures human attention. So if you are figuring out where people spend their time, how they do it, how people are able to engage inside of platforms that provide for them everything from toilet paper to movies to bank accounts, capturing that human attention and finding ways to do that at scale rather than just pushing product into the street, that's really the key to figuring out the next 15 years.
Very cool. Well, thank you very much, Lex. This has been such an interesting discussion. In a couple of weeks, we'll be releasing 3 full episodes of my conversation with Lex. In them, we talk about disruption in financial services and what Lex learned from starting a robo-advice company in 2010, while also doing a joint MBA JD program at Columbia. We'll also get deep into artificial intelligence and the ethics of using it. In the meantime, listen to how our other guests answered these quick-fire questions. And if you like what you hear, subscribe to the podcast. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to the Accenture Insurance Influencers podcast with your host, Igrana Yu. To hear more, visit Accenture.com/insurance influencers, where you can subscribe and hear more from some of the leading thinkers in the insurance industry today.